That is great. Brand new spring protectors. Good thing they were on there. Okay guys, so we did take one shim out. I know we took both out. Oh shit. Oh well, I just broke it. That's great. Here, see, this is what takes so long on Jeeps. It's like, oh yeah, just, you know, take the tire rod off, knocking the pin out, no problem, right? Negative, Ghost Rider. Then you got this guy. Every day. Loves to hear the 5.0 rev up. That's great, man. You just ain't got to do it in front of my house. Hopefully I didn't bend it. If I did, well, I'm used to throwing one anyway, so. Welcome back to the shop. We're gonna be working on my red CJ2A today. We've got the axle tore down as bad as far as you can get it. So we got part of our closed knuckle over here, and the rest of it here. Of course, this bolts, or this goes in with kingpins to those cones. The reason I pulled all this stuff off is I noticed some stiff resistance in the steering, and of course just general maintenance. I was pulling off, check the bearings, and the farther, sometimes it seems the farther you take these things apart, the more problems you find. So you have to have a stopping point. And so the only reason that I'm taking it down this far is because the kingpin bearing was in pieces, as you can tell. It was pretty much disintegrated. I mean, it was had all the rollers, some of the pieces, you know, some of it had been filed down just so hard that it this is actually the part of the cone bearing right here, the base of it where your rollers go. There's no top piece. And then when I did take the top one off, I noticed that it's starting to lose rollers. So it's for the best, but sometimes it seems like a never-ending saga. But basically what we're gonna do is to work about replacing these. So I just need to clean some of this up, and I definitely need to clean the outside. Make sure that knuckle, when I do put it back together, I got new seals. So when I do put it back together, I don't have any leaks. So we'll start working on cleaning this stuff up. I'm just gonna be using a little drill with a little wire brush on it. Seems to be about the easiest solution. I could hand brush it, but of course, if you know, I was probably die hard, you know, I actually wanted to do frame off restoration kind of stuff, I'd take the axle out, you know, take the machine shop, clean all the parts, put it all back together, nice spick and span. But if you look at the rest of the Jeep, it's not ready for that stage yet. So we're just gonna put her back together and keep riding her around like they're meant to. I did want to say real quick, I don't know if y'all knew, but this Jeep was in Harvey, the flood. I didn't drive it around during Harvey. The thing was that I was parked in my barn, and by the time I was able to get out to my barn to try to save anything, it was too late. And so basically I got 2 foot of water in the barn, so everything we had to replace gear oil and everything, and yeah, it was a real ordeal. So that's why if you look at these knuckles, you'll see that half of the, you know, on the bottom is kind of where it was corroded bad. On the top, you know, still looks pretty good, but that's why. So I've got a little bit stuffed in the axle as well that I'm gonna have to get out somehow. Probably using a shop vac, but hadn't figured that one out yet. So now what we're going to do is we're going to beat these races out. Should be pretty self-explanatory, but go ahead and try it anyways. See what happens. that is great. Brand new spring protectors. Good thing they were on there. There it goes. Audi 5000. Welcome back. We're going to be trying to knock the top race out. Hopefully without knocking my camera over this time. It didn't do too bad on the camera protector. I did have lens protectors just installed, so everything was a-okay. But yeah, so we got the bottom one knocked out. We'll just be working on the top now. Oh yeah, bud. Some more of that flood water for you. Top looks fine. It's just squeaky clean, but with these closed knuckles, I mean, I never even thought about it. We changed the diff oil, and you know, that helped a little bit, I'm sure, in the differentials. But yeah, we kind of forgot about the closed knuckles on the ends. So, yep, my bad, but we're fixing it now, so that's all we can do. It does say we have to cut a slice in this felt, but I don't know. See if I can just wing it on there. I'd rather not, because I feel like that's just kind of pointless. Nope, we're good. So that may be like the old manual. I mean, the old way of doing it. But we're good now. So, as I said, backing ring towards the wheel, so to the outside. First it didn't make sense, but it kind of does now. So I guess this, let's see, let me get on here right quick. We'll look at it. And I don't know exactly how you're supposed to put this thing on. I mean, I'm trying not to bend the crap out of it, but I may have to a little bit. Oh. Yeah, well, they are kind of flimsy. Just letting you know. It'll be fine once it all, you know, once it's bolted to it, but I don't care for it much right now. Yeah, so it'll basically be like that. You know, on the seal, and then once this is bolted up from the back, this will be your sealing surface. So, yeah, I was thinking about it backwards, basically, like, you don't really care the oil gets to the backing ring. You just want to get past that. So, which is the bolts to hold that in is going to be from the back. So I did want to give a little public service announcement. If you're working on an older CJ 2A to CJ6, CJ5, early CJ5, pick you up one of these books, Walks or Kaiser Willys, most likely, maybe Amazon. Plenty of information. Every time I get a little stumped, you know, you can flip through. I was actually just looking at stuff on the axles, which is, I think, M and N section. So yeah, M, front axle. Actually, the page I was actually looking at. So looking at the oil seal, just making sure I'm installing it the right way. So it says the backing ring towards the wheel. So basically the rubber piece is going to go away from the wheel. So yeah. My dad did tell me that I probably should have blocked underneath when I was hitting them in from the top. I don't know how accurate that is, because I know another guy, like I said on YouTube, made Metal Shaper. He just beat them in. Now, being that it is braced at the U-joints and that the whole tube isn't moving, I don't know. Hopefully I didn't bend it. If I did, well, I'm used to throwing them anyway, so I think I'm just gonna have to wing it. Hope I don't hit my fingers. And tap, tap, tappy. I mean, it's going in. It's just one side's hell. Really trying hard not to hurt my fingers. Maybe let's try some channel locks. There we go. All right, so we're gonna soak these parts in the parts washer for a little bit, see if that helps anything. Yeah, they're pretty bad. Just grease and that knuckle lube, you know, leaking for years. Starting to get there. I don't know if y'all saw that, but I almost lost my light. It's supposed to be waterproof, I think. I don't know if it's degreaser proof, but I come out a different color red. Let's go ahead and turn this back right. Here we go. One of the things where like you think you're done and then you find another spot. But it was pretty nasty, I gotta admit. Brake shoes were covered in it. Yeah, much better to soak them. At least when they're this nasty. I think you almost got to. These are your kingpins. So basically an old school ball joint. Almost ready for paint. Of course, this isn't getting painted, but it's almost dry. Sun does great things. And now we're going to take some tape off of this knuckle, make sure I didn't paint any of the bad surfaces that I wasn't supposed to. And we're going to see about putting it on. We're going to be using some closed knuckle lubricant to lubricate the bearings. As you can see here, the old ones, not much good anymore. the top one was intact. The bottom one was in pieces. Yeah, so they both the bottom one looked just like this when it came out with a bunch of little BBs. Top one looked intact with this little cage on it, but it's, you know, I threw it on the ground a couple times and it sure enough just came apart. So it's a good call. Go ahead and bind all 4 bearings. I'll be doing the other side as well, but the other side is actually still apart. I'd put it back together like, oh yeah, I'll just reuse the old parts. Not today, Wilson. So the bottom ones I knew were probably gonna be pretty bad. The top one was, of course, you know, probably 60 years old, so it was coming. But this closed knuckle lubricant comes from Torque King 4x4. They're out of Montana. They're pretty good guys and gals from what I've gathered. I really like being able to, you know, look through all the parts that they have. They have some parts that are hard to find, like some, you know, that you can't find on other sites. So that is what I do like about them. They pretty much have most everything. If they don't, you know, you can probably shop around, but they're pretty well-encompassing. This is only about $8 for a tube, and it says contains approximately 11 fluid ounces. Use 6 ounces for 8 bolt knuckle seals. So that's what we have. It's 8 bolt knuckles. Basically, like from the back, holding this seal on is 8 bolts. So we're gonna chop this off, and it comes in like a caulking gun, you know, format, so you can just squeeze it out real easy. It's not a pain in the butt. So yeah, okie dokie. Oh, and I was gonna take this out. However, I couldn't chuck this up right in the vise, and I didn't want to break it. And I'm pretty sure this is like a cast part, so and sometimes that stuff can be a little fragile. So I was gonna take it easy and put it on, and then take this off like it's, you know, meant to be from the factory. So that way I wouldn't have to worry about it. Got a hole in it. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna get ready to grease these bearings. I'm gonna try something first. Oh yeah, no, that's not gonna work. I will say this, you know them ice machines that they make that like you have to stop way before you actually get enough ice? That's what these things are like. It just keeps coming out. So that one will go on the bottom. Of course, we can't put it in right now because we need to have the knuckle ready to go first. So we're gonna get ready for this. Put this in here. So how's the best way? I think I should just put the bearing in here. And shove the kingpin in bearing. I apologize if I have terrible video coverage of this. I'm just trying to get it on. Always looking from the front. There we go. We're in there. So now we just gotta put some bolts on it. Or at least another one to hold it. There we go. I'm just gonna tighten it all the way up as far as I can by hand. And then we're gonna come back and put some more in. I just wanted to hold it. Whew. You know, honestly, that went easier than expected. So I hope I video that good enough for y'all, but basically the easiest way was just to throw the bearing in there on top of the knuckle, put it up in there, and then, you know, it's got a race in there, so it's got a groove. So then you just finesse the kingpin bearing in from the bottom. Let's go ahead and get this top one in. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the shims. I don't wanna. So we're gonna go ahead and match these up. Match this bearing just how it came off, hopefully. Just like that. Stick this in there. When in doubt, just beat it out. Oh, come on, you want to go on there. I'm gonna attempt not to scratch my paint job. And she's not wanting to go. All right, I'm assuming there's some kind of never sees on these. And honestly, we'll get the bearing preload set, make sure everything's hunky-dory, then we can do that, you know, one at a time. You don't have to do it right now. You try to do too many things at once, something's gonna mess up, you know? So I'm gonna go ahead and this knuckle moves up and down quite a bit right now. I think that's simply because the, you know, we're not tightened up. We're tightened up on the bottom, but we're not tightened up on the top. And I think once we put a bolt in and start doing it, then I think we'll be sitting pretty. Yeah, definitely not that loose. Definitely don't want it that loose. Now, once we tighten up these top ones, we'll probably be sitting pretty good. Okay. Not too bad. All right, so now we gotta get this tie rod end off. Then we can start working on checking our play. So this thing is just in there. We're gonna try to punch it out first. Oh, well, I just broke it. That's great. Here, see, this is what takes so long on Jeeps. It's like, oh yeah, just, you know, take the tie rod off, knocking the pin out, no problem, right? Negative, Ghost Rider. Not cleared. Oh, we got it. Money, money, money. Hope I didn't speak too soon. Look at that. Would you just look at it? Ain't nothing left of the thing. It's had some rust right there in the middle. 95,000, my friend. Okay, gonna loosen up this nut now. Then you got this guy. Every day. Every day. Loves to hear the 5.0 rev up. So that's great, man. You just ain't gotta do it in front of my house. Well, guys, I got it off. I did have to use the wedge. This one worked out really well. Of course, I messed up the boot. It was pretty dry rotted anyways, but. Okay, guys, so we did take one shim out. I know we took both out. Oh, shit. Honestly, I didn't look. But really, it doesn't matter. You just need to make sure that your bearing, you know, like tension is the right pull. And so it's checked on here. If you look at the scale, it goes up to about 15. A little past, and that's when it starts to move. And the book is 12 to 16. So I think we're about where we need to be. It's like right at 14 or 15 when it starts to move, and that's where we want to be. So I think we're okay. I didn't mean to take both shims out. I was just going to take one, but I'm kind of glad I did now, because now I know that I didn't need it. So this seal needs to go into this groove, and it's going to be a pain in the ass, but it needs to be tight. So that's why. But we'll get it in there, and then we're going to put this felt behind it, and then put these halves on. Alright guys, I think I got the first part done. It seems that this oil seal is a real pain in the rear. I did, however, get it all wrapped around except for the top. So what I'm planning on doing is just put the felt on, followed by the ring, and then let's see, felt goes like this. Yeah. So put the felt on, then the ring on the bottom. That way it holds in the seal, and then I'll mess with the top. So that's the plan. All right, guys. We've got successfully completed the bottom section. So now we've got to finish the top. And we got this little split right here. It's probably going to be a pain in the rear. Like we might have to like find a way to press it in and then put the ring on it. But it can be done. It's not that bad. All right, we're all through. I think it's gonna be all right. Hope so, anyways. We'll find out. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna put this, I don't know why I just put that glove on. I have no idea. What we're gonna do is we're gonna insert the shaft, and then we're gonna put this spindle on, throw some grease in it so it doesn't rub it or anything. Let me get this glove off right quick. Okay, there we go. I got these because I didn't want to be having to get up and get down. But let me go get the shaft right quick. We'll stick it in, and then we'll be ready to stick on our spindle and our brake plate. Okay. Now, of course, this thing goes in. Just goes down the tube. There we go. Just like that. So it'll be the in and out play is going to be set by the actual deal on the end. I'll show you all that here in just a minute. Okay, so now we're going to put this on. Spin it around a little bit. Distribute that lube in there. I'm trying to put all this stuff on the end. It's all right. We'll redirect it. Okay, and it probably doesn't matter, but there was a spot on this knuckle, and there was a spot on the flange, so I figured I would just go ahead and put it back exactly where it was, if I can find it. There it is. I was playing with this yesterday. It kind of seems like it has to go in on both sides about the same time, which is a lot easier than it sounds. Let's see if I can just tap this one side on here. There we go. Okay, now I'm a little off center, So what we can do, let me get a little small screwdriver or something. Here we go. This will be perfect tool right here. Alright, that should work. Of course, we got to put the brake assembly on too while we're doing this. So now we can proceed to put everything else on. So, yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and put a bolt in this top side. Make sure my lock washers are good. Yeah. That way, if I mess up any threads, I'll stop. I can stop now. You know. I don't think I did. I think we're gonna be a-okay. Shoot, yeah. Getting better by the minute. Okay. Tighten these bad boys up. I would do these just like you would the tire, you know, like in a crisscross pattern. That way that spindle doesn't get lopsided or something. All right, guys, so next what we're gonna do is the brakes. I'm probably not gonna record this just regular, you know, time, speed. If you have any question on brakes, give me a shout. I'll be glad to help, but honestly, they're pretty simple. I mean, they're just a pain in the rear, like it's basically what's going on. Just to get the springs and everything correct. So yeah, if you have any questions, give me a shout, but I'm just gonna go ahead and speed this up for you guys. All right, I got the brake shoes on and everything, and you'll see that one shoe is really stuck in there, the other one's not. So we're going to have to adjust the eccentrics, which is these little tabs right here and right here. They're adjusted with like basically a lock nut and like a little crescent wrench size nut on the back. Basically, what we're going to be doing is adjusting this lock nut and then turning this with a wrench. I think, well, the nut's 9/16. I'll have to find a wrench that size. I'm gonna think it's 7/16 or 3/8, something like that, or maybe a crescent wrench, but it'd be better if you had a wrench size so it's tight. And then we're gonna equalize, basically equalize the pistons. And so, I'm sorry, equalize the brake shoes. So push this one out a little bit, pull this one in a little bit. You want it just close. You'll adjust the brake shoe drag once you put your brake drum on and all that. So this is just get it off this piston right now. And I don't know if I said earlier, but big brake shoe towards the front. All right, so we're back. I just want to press this. So we're going to be putting this hub on, and we're going to be putting the grease in this bearing. So you have this oil seal on the back, and what we're going to do to take that out, you can use a puller, but the problem is you end up ruining the seal. So what we're going to do is push the bearing out, and you know, the seal is going to come with it. So get you a socket or a piece of pipe or something that's just about the right size to hit the inside of that bearing, and then you can just knock it out. just like that. So bearing and seal come all out as one. And then I'm gonna get most of that old grease out of there right quick, just because it looks pretty nasty. Okay, so got my bearing packer here. Like I said, I was gonna show y'all earlier. If you haven't gotten one of these yet, and if you pack bearings quite a bit, either find somebody that has one and borrow it, or just, you know, use it. And yeah, because they're really handy, man. And like I'm wearing gloves, but like having to pack them in my hand, if you got to do a bunch of them at a time, man, it's really annoying, and it starts to hurt your hand after a while. I don't care who you are. But man, it's pretty simple. We've got that seal and bearing pulled out, so this is the one. I cleaned it up in there. I think it was definitely axle lip. It's real sticky, and so this bearing, it looks like it's, you know, got a lot of grease in it, but it actually doesn't. So now we're just gonna put this in here, cone down, and just simply, you got grease in the bottom, and it's basically just a plunger. Throw this on top. You don't twist it on, and then just push down with a little bit of elbow grease until you push some grease out. I try to push a little over, that way I can kind of push some of the old stuff out. So this is what she comes out as. Make sure I can get y'all to see it. Yeah. So we're just gonna wipe a little bit of this stuff off. Since it's older, I'm just gonna put it to the side. The stuff in the middle, I usually just put on the outside or inside the hub. And these things aren't very expensive, these bearing packers. They're like 20 to 30 bucks. I bought mine at O'Reilly's. I heard about them after I packed a bunch of bearings, and then that's when you find out about all the cool tools, right? After your work's already done. So I went and bought one, or found this one, and it seems to be the cream of the crop from what I've looked around, or from what I've seen on the web and all that. They make some other models, but I think this was made by Lindy, or I don't know, one of them L companies. We got our bearing all lubed up again, put in there. Just kind of, I usually just sprinkle a little bit of that stuff around. Now, we'll put this back in here. And by the way, the threads, I don't know if y'all saw Dad earlier, but he was kept trying to screw it on. So what that's for is when the plunger's all the way at the bottom, you screw this on here to pull it back up. But under normal operation, you just push it down. And then this is just keep all your dust out. So make sure you put that back on. Okay, so now take our seal, which is it's an older bearing part, or I'm sorry, seal part number. It was made by Trostel, or Trosty. It's DW300 208, or DW300-208-5. I'm sure you can look it up in the cross reference, but I just usually throw a little bit of grease on this. I'm using the old seal, guys. It's just to hold grease in, so I'm not very worried about it at all. So we're just gonna put this back on here. And I think I have a big socket specifically for this already out here. I bet you this is it. Yep, that's it. So make sure you're all evened up, and it doesn't have to go in like an oil seal, you know, 100% straight. I try to make it pretty nice, but all you're looking for here is just to knock it flush. So a little bit on this other side. A little bit past flush, but that's okay. Maybe not. Hold on. We'll turn it over, hit the bearing out a little bit, and that'll make it flush. I think it moved. There we go. So we're gonna do, just gonna, yeah, that's it. See, our bearing can move now, so that's what you want. Okay, so I'll take it over there to the axle. We're gonna pack the front bearing, clean everything up on there, make sure you get some new good fresh grease in there, and then we'll throw it on the spindle. Go through that procedure. I do need to, if you do, I mean, it's fine if you get grease on the sides. Make sure you hit it with some brake clean if you want to stop. If not, you know. All right, so now we just need to take a little bit of grease. Take it outside here, put it on this spindle. Make sure this is good and greased up. Now remember, this is not knuckle lube. This is just wheel bearing grease. So make sure you know the difference. You know, wheel bearing grease is actually grease. This knuckle lube is more like a mix between the two. They do say don't mix. I know people in the past have done like 90 weight and grease. They don't really mix together anyways, so I would advise against that. It'll probably just leak past the seals. It would probably work if you had some old seals like those that are just wore out. You could do it like that if you wanted to, but just realize you're gonna be leaking all over the place, and it probably won't get the lube or the correct lube that you need. So okay. A little stiff on the brakes, but I'm not worried about that right now. Okay, so now what we've got to do, pack our other bearing, shove it in there, and then we can start messing with the washers and the nuts. Okay, so these are in order. So this little ring here, let's see, yes, yeah, so this ring nut, we'll be torquing that, and then we'll be also torquing the outer nut. So ring in here like this, so like with the groove, and then we're gonna put one of these nuts on. So basically we're just gonna be tightening up this nut. We're gonna take it to 50 foot-pounds. If you don't have one of these, get one if you're gonna do hubs, or come borrow it from me, I don't care. They sell them on any of the Jeep sites, but it's a special size nut. I can't remember the exact size. You can't really find these at an auto parts store. I've looked, because I was trying to, you know, hurry up and do it, but definitely needed. You're gonna torque it to 50 foot-pounds. And then we're going to back off just a little bit, like a 1/6 of a turn, so like 6 sides, so one side back. You know, spin our hub a little bit, make sure everything's good to go. Once we do that, I probably will back off on the brake adjustments a little bit, so that way I know like what the hub's doing versus like how it feels with the brakes kind of dragging. So now I got the hub off the brakes. So now we're gonna take this sucker up to 50. And you're supposed to kind of spin the hub as you're tightening. Kind of helps seat the bearings from what I've heard. Good God. There we go. Got her now. So, got your 50. So now we're just gonna back off a 1/6 of a turn. So we're gonna put this flat over here. Yeah. And you do that so you don't, run on the brakes and hurt your bearings. So yeah, see, we're good there. Pretty decent to spin. Yep, we're good there. Okay, so now what we can do is put the second washer on. And this is the one that you're gonna bend up. Bend a piece of it up. So just FYI on that. It does need to go into the spot, or the, you know, groove. So that's on there now. So they sell these washers and stuff pretty cheap. I think it's like 8 or 10 bucks. So if you want to replace them, that's fine. But I mean, if they're not bad, they're not bad. So I don't really think they can wear out. The washer that you bend up probably would, but other than that, I think they're pretty stout. People just get in there with chisels. Mostly human error, I guess, is why you would replace them. Not really anything mechanical wear. Okay, we're up against it now. So, on 50 foot-pounds, correct. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and, what in the world? There we go. That tension every now and then is because that washer is not flat. All right, we just hit 50. So we're good. Yep. Spins good. Good and tight. All right. I'll have to go get the gaskets pretty soon for this outer piece. Basically though, all you do is bolt this on here like so. It's got to go into the grooves of the shaft just like so, and this is what makes your axle shaft and your drums and everything all spin as one. This is what we're like locking hubs takes that away. So if you have locking hubs, they basically bolt on in the same place, but instead of spinning that shaft all the time, it's spinning, it's just spinning on the bearings. So basically it's just like the shaft just in free play, which is good for gas mileage. But like a lot of people have said, you know, you have this knuckle filled full of lube, if it's just sitting there, and then when you're turning it, you're still, you know, using it to turn, so your top bearing is going to start to lose, you know, grease. So they say to either roll them in, you know, like dial the hubs in, drive around for a little while, slosh that grease up there again, so it can, you know, everything kind of stays lubed up. But that'd be the only downside. I would like them, but I'm just going to stick with these flanges, man. I'm not in desire of high speeds or gas mileage, so it's miles per gallon, if anything. So I'm just going to leave these flanges on here. It keeps everything kind of rolling around, lubed up. And that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to clean this up a little bit, try to get some of the gunk off of it. I don't want to put it in the parts washer because it's just going to come right back out and go back into some grease. All right, let's pull this thing off, see what it looks like. Yes, sir. Now I can put this flange on here. I think it's gonna look pretty sweet. Red flange on a black hub. Let me give it a try. See what happens. I'm probably not gonna show putting on the hub, just because I'm gonna have to like put it on there, put a paint around, put tape around it for paint. So what I'll probably just do is just kind of skip over that. It's literally simple though. Like you put on 6 bolts and you put a snap ring on. I might video the snap ring, but probably not gonna put on the flange, putting that on. Just about to rip off the tape. Just wanted to let y'all see what it looked like. Be the first people. Oh yeah, I think it looks pretty sweet. A little different, that's for sure, but overall I'm impressed with it. So yeah, I think it looks pretty sweet. This pretty much wraps up the video. One thing you do need to do though before you take this driving or anything is, of course, we have to set our tie rods. We'll do that once we get the other side broken down, reassembled. But also, so on the back here, you have that plug right here. So you need to pull that out and squirt that full of Knuckle lubricant of whatever kind you want to use. Like I said, I got mine from Torque King 4x4. It's closed knuckle lubricant. It's about $8 a tube. I think a tube should do both sides, but as much as I'm working on them, I bought, you know, a couple at first, and I went ahead and bought a couple more just so I don't have to pay the shipping. Just, you know, try to knock it out all at once. But yeah, we do need to fill that up with Knuckle lube. Bearings are packed. Brake hose is connected, so we'll be ready for that soon. Fix our tie rod, and of course fix the other side. So, but yeah, that about wraps it up for as far as the bearings and the, you know, the spindle and everything goes, and your brakes. Appreciate you guys watching this video, and if you have any questions or comments or a way to better do it, please let me know. I'm always open for suggestions. So thanks for watching, and y'all have a good day.